Okay, so for the top and the sides, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of wood. Also, I got these boards with the thickness of 3/4 of an inch. That's pretty thick, but I just wanted it to be like sturdy enough to where I could like go on the roof and not worry about it like caving in. I just wanted it to be extra sturdy, but now that I'm thinking about it, since these are really heavy because they're so thick, I wish I would have just gotten enough in this thickness just for the top and then gotten a thinner version for the sides, because the sides don't really need to be like, it doesn't have to be that thick because there's not going to be anything standing on top of the sides. If you guys do this project, get thinner ones for the sidewalls to save on weight, because with the 2x4s and the thick wood, it's going to be kind of top heavy. So I hope that doesn't fuck me over in the end when I'm driving and like gas mileage, stuff like that. Okay, so we have our roof pieces cut out, and they're the kind with the little notch like puzzle piece connections, so that's gonna be good because there's gonna be 1, 2, and then 3, so I can like hammer them into each other to like lock them into place and create a better seal. Okay, so I screwed in this end just to hold it in place while I go into the front and mallet and hammer it all together so that those two joints like meet with each other like super tight. Just so I can like unscrew this one and then shift it all into place. Okay, all my side pieces are cut out. Now I'm gonna start putting it up there and prepping my nails already partially screwed in to make my life easier while I'm holding it up there, because it's gonna be a struggle. All right, so the back piece is on, but also, so I don't think my frame is completely squared off, so it's a little off, but that's okay. We'll just trim the edges or something. As long as it's watertight and functional, that's all I care about. But before I finish putting the sides on, I'm gonna go and finish sealing it, because once I put the sides on, it's gonna be really hard to like get to the very base of the frame to waterproof it. So I'm gonna do that first. Okay, everything is sealed with waterproof silicone sealant. Got the corners really good because that's the only places that like aren't touching with the screws and stuff. But I'm also gonna be sealing the inner edges of inside the vehicle, so it'll be double sealed. Okay, we're back at it inside the van this time. Got my little space heater and a light because we're just gonna do some stuff here inside the van because it's still raining outside. I had to put my hair back because there's like so much silicone in it, because when I was sealing the edges, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just forgot to put my hair back and it kept falling into the silicone, and I have it like all over my shirt. So yeah, I think I'm gonna seal the inside edges and then finish bolting all the bolts. Okay, finally freaking done with the framing for the front. I don't know why, but none of my measuring techniques actually worked. So I pretty much wasted a whole 16-foot piece of 2x4 just to trial and error the length and angles of these. But at least they're on. Now I'm just gonna do like the triangle pieces on the sides, and then I'm gonna try to just do one solid piece across. It'll bend a little bit, but it doesn't curve enough to where that should be a problem. That way it'll just be less seams and stuff to deal with, and you know, less risk of water leaking through the seams. So I'm just gonna try to do one solid piece. Okay, so I cut out the front, the very front piece of wood. It's gonna be the last piece of wood, yay! I cut the ends at an angle, and then I also did these like score lines just to help it bend, because there's that like slight curve up in the front. So just since this is pretty thick wood, I don't imagine that it would bend very well to conform to that slight bend. So just to help it, I, in theory, cut these to kind of allow for some flex right there. So I just did like 2 cuts, like probably, I don't know, I think I adjusted my thing to like a little less than ½ inch. And now I'm just gonna like pop these pieces out, so that when it bends this way, it'll like not run into itself. I don't know how to describe that, but hopefully it works. Clamped it down so that way it's not sticking out like that. Okay, since my frame wasn't completely even, none of my pieces are fitting evenly. I hope you can hear me. So I need to cut that. I need to cut up there a little bit. I'm just gonna mark all the spots that need to be altered, and then I'm gonna take it off, and then I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna put it back on. Everything is on, everything is screwed in. I finished it with that like front strip, because there was like some gaps right there because it wasn't like perfectly matched up with the curve and whatever. That was kind of a pain in the butt to get on there, but whatever. I did all the other sides. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do there. So now I have to seal it up. Okay, so I'm sealing everything up at night because with the light inside the van, but the outside being dark, I'm able to see all the spots where light is coming through. You can see that there's light there. I didn't notice any of that during the daytime. And like up there's some light. So yeah, this helps doing it at night. So I'm going around and sealing all the smaller cracks with this. It's waterproof and weatherproof. And like this one, I'd say is too big just for silicone. So I'm gonna wait on that one so I can fill it with expanding foam first and then silicone on the outside after I trim that down. So now I'm gonna go and put this stuff. It's like window and door expanding sealer, weatherproof, but it's like the kind that doesn't expand a whole bunch, so it's not gonna like push everything out of place. I just want it to seal up some big cracks so that way I can like trim this down once it dries and then cover that with silicone or wood filler, and then that'll be prepped for paint. So I'm gonna go in with this for the big cracks. Like right here, you can see the light coming through. It's hard to tell, but yeah, there's some pretty decent cracks here in the front because it was like the jankiest part of this whole build, but I'm gonna like get it really good in there, like all along there, like all along there. my original idea was to do the foam gap filler, carve it down to, you know, fill all the large gaps, and then go over it with the wood filler to give it like an all-around like wood feel, like hard, and blend it in with the other wood, especially like on that corner where I had to like reshape it. But yeah, it doesn't say anywhere that it is waterproof. Don't know why I didn't think of that in the store. I think I was just in a rush. Yeah, see, it says here that it needs to be sealed with a waterproof coating, which is what I'm gonna do. But I don't really like the idea of that being the only thing between the water getting through this. So I think I'm just gonna go and seal everything over all the foam with silicone, since that is 100% waterproof. I just don't like that the silicone's not gonna be hard, so like that a reshaped corner is gonna be like squishy. I don't know if that's gonna cause any problems, but I think waterproof wise, the silicone's going to be the more guaranteed thing to like keep the water out of all those seams, because I do not want to mess around with the seams. This is what I'm using to paint it, and this will be probably the only thing that I paint it with from now on. I might do 2 or 3 coats depending on how long this lasts, like how far I could go with this one. That's as much as I'm doing for now, because this was really expensive. But yeah, this should be good because it's 100% waterproof since it's just silicone, and it's like meant for RVs and stuff to like seal and paint the roofs. So, you know, I think this helps like regulate the heat temperatures and stuff. I think it like reflects or insulates or something. It said something about that, I think. So that'll be nice. We're at the gas station. So far, so good. Doesn't feel too crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the problem that came up that prompted me to do this now. If you look like under there, right under here, you can't really tell, but it's wet. Like really wet. And that's because I painted everything, but I didn't really get down under the bottom edges because, like I said, it was really hard to get to. But then it rained and everything underneath got soaked. So the other pieces aren't really soaked as bad as that front piece, but that front piece is probably the easiest one to replace if it does start rotting away. So I'm not too worried about it, because it'll be an easy fix, but hopefully it just like dries out and magically is fine. But I am aware that that's possibly an issue in the future, so that was my bad. So today I'm working on finishing like waterproofing the outside, because I still haven't gotten to like painting the corners and the underneath edges because they were like hard to get to with the paintbrush. So what I'm doing to help me with that is, so it would be really hard for me to get the paintbrush under here in that tiny gap, and so when water falls it'll like collect in there and start like saturating the inside from underneath. So I'm using gap filler again. Honestly, I just keep using this for everything because I don't know if there's a better product for it. I don't know if there's some sort of like body building foam for like body work on cars, but I'm just using this to fill in all the gaps. I like rounded off the corner. I'm gonna trim all this down once it's done hardening, and then I'm gonna do that all the way around, and then I'm gonna go over with some wood filler putty stuff to make it hard and smooth, and I'll sand it down, and then I'll finish painting it. Because then also this paint that I use is like self-leveling pretty much because it's like really liquidy, so it creates a really good waterproof seal once it trickles down and hits the body of the van. So it'll be like super waterproof once I finish all of that, and then she'll be ready to withstand all the weather for the rest of the season. Okay, so as you can see, this is all filled in and trimmed down. all the way down there. So now this is like a nice flat surface that I'm gonna apply plastic wood, like spackle stuff, wood filler stuff on top of to make this hard, because it's like squishy since it's just foam. And then once it's hard, I'm gonna paint it with the same silicone paint, and that'll like dribble down onto the body of the van and create a nice waterproof seal. Like I said, this is all kind of experimental. I'm just seeing what I can do with my limited cheap material options and what I can do with I don't know, my limited knowledge. I don't know what else would have been a better solution for this, but this is what my brain came up with, and I think it'll work for the most part. All right, so now that the spackle dried, it was nice and hard, and so now I'm just painting over that, and it's like the paint is basically like that self-leveling silicone, so it's going to create a really nice seal once it all settles down, and it's sticking very well. So I'm just like caking it on there. So to conclude this video series of my roof extension build, I think I'll give you guys a 6-month update on how it's all doing. Let me show you. As you can see, it's going strong. There's no like leaks or bowing or warping or anything like that. It's super sturdy, really easy to drive with, and most of all, there hasn't been any leaks. And this thing, I built it in October and it's now like almost the end of April. That's about 6 months of it going through the Washington rain, the snow, ice storms, and now I'm in California in the sun. So it has like really seen all of the weather so far over the past 6 months, and so far there hasn't been any issues at all. Really, there's only one thing that I really would change next time, I think, and that's using silicone for all of the joints. Like you can see like the joints here, and like, you know, all the joints where all the pieces of wood for the walls met. I used silicone sealant, like the caulking, the silicone caulk or whatever. Pretty much the issue is that once the silicone in the joints like dried, it didn't really let anything else stick to it. So the paint that's on top of everything isn't sticking to the joints really. Like I'm sure if I picked at it, I could peel it off right there. I can't do that on like just the plain wood parts. It's like super on there, super good, and it like doesn't peel off when I run into trees and stuff. But right here in the front, you can see I had to patch that with some more silicone because the white outer paint, even though it also is silicone, it wasn't sticking to the seam silicone. And so when I would like run under trees and stuff, it ended up like peeling it up right there on that seam where the silicone was underneath. Then that did create a leak. It didn't leak inside my house or anything, but I can tell that it was like, you know, getting the wood wet a little bit under there. It's hard to describe. It wasn't a major leak, but I'm sure over time if water kept getting in there, then it would like soak the wood, and like that would probably cause some issues over time. So I just patched it with some more silicone sealant, like caulking or whatever it's called, and I'll be like repainting over that. So I would probably go with like a wood filler or something that's like more textured and not silicone. That way when you do paint the paint, like this outer layer of the white paint, then the white paint will like for sure stick to something else that's not silicone, because this paint is super durable and it like is super waterproof. It's literally 100% silicone. It's RV roof paint. I showed you earlier in the video what it was. I used silicone in all the joints and stuff because I wanted it to be like super waterproof, and like the wood putty and like wood sealant or whatever isn't waterproof. And so like, I don't know, I didn't think ahead that it would have been waterproof once I painted it. But yeah, so I would just use something like that, so that way the white paint would stick to it better. So if you found this little video series of this insane project of me building a roof extension, if you found it entertaining or helpful or anything, please give these videos a like. Go watch my other videos leading up to this one. And if you have any comments or questions or suggestions or whatever you want to say, go ahead and leave a comment. Like this video, please. Subscribe to my channel. I like to do all kinds of crazy build stuff. I'll be off on adventures now that I live in my van, and I'll update you guys later on how this is all doing, maybe in another 6 months or something.